What's going on, you guys? It's the FPL Penguin back again with another stream for you all. And in today's stream, we'll be talking once again all about FPL and Game Week 13, and also talking about different things to talk about during this hectic Christmas period. But once again, I am joined by another special guest. This time, last night, if you tuned in, I was joined by his co-host, his partner in crime, Nick. I am now joined by the one and only, Luton's very own, Ash. How you doing, Ash?
Yeah, I'm really well, mate. Thank you for having me on. It's been a long time coming. Been a little while since we were scheduled to come on each other's pods, and streams. But yeah, really happy to be here. Glad there's no Luton quiz this time.
Not today.
Like it was promised. But yeah, really good to jump on, mate.
You put me through a quiz. But maybe
I'm sure you don't want to be reminded of that again, Calvin, mate.
No. Is it West Ham, Watford? Oh, jeez. Anyway, let's get straight into it. So basically talk about guys like we did yesterday and all my other guest streams. Invite guests on, special guests from the community, and talk about their teams as well, how they're getting on this season, and also talking about how they're doing, how they're going to line up going into the next game week as well. And some topics as well, some talking points we'll be talking about as well, looking at fixtures as well. So we'll get straight into it. As I said, talked about with Nick yesterday, just to show Ash how I'm getting on. Not doing too well, going down to 261k, 61 points, took a -4. It's not really anything special. I really would hope during this Christmas period, this hectic Christmas period where there's like 9 game weeks. It's always great. It's always great. It's crucial. It's going to be crucial for how you're going to do for the rest of the season. This is the main. So it's how I got on. Son, Foden, Blankin, Cancelo. He was one of my transfer ins. I brought in on a -4. He did well. And so was Wilson as well. I brought in for Azlaqueta and Jamie Vardy. But yeah, nothing much to rave about. Tony back with the goals after a few game weeks out, getting a goal against Newcastle. That was my bench. Horrible. Williams is in there. Feel free to rip that apart. I'm looking to get rid of him very, very soon. Williams. But yeah, Captain Salah, felt more safer going for him. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll just swiftly move on to how
quickly moving on.
Game week 13. And I have got a bit of a dilemma because, well, I'll tell you what my transfer is. I've done my transfer. I brought Trent in, probably late to the party, but I think he's still fantastic. And, playing as he's not looking like a fullback, is he? He's looking like a midfielder, like an attacking midfielder. And so I brought in Trent for Marcel from Wolves, and I had quite a bit of money in the bank to fund that move, so I've got about 2.1 million left to play around with during this hectic period of Christmas period. But the problem is, this is how I'm setting out. I'm still happy with Captain Salah. It's a more safer pick, but there's two things going around. One on Twitter, one from Pep Guardiola's mouth. The Liverpool game up north, there seems to be this weekend, it's happening right now, I can hear it outside, some weather problems we're going to have up north, maybe near Liverpool. Maybe the Liverpool game will be probably postponed, but I don't think it will. But this weekend up north, we are looking like we're going to have some high winds, should we say, some very windy weather. So I was kind of thinking, then that moves me on to the Foden dilemma, with Pep Guardiola kind of coming out. I can bring it on the screen. I'll read it to you now. What I retweeted. It's from FPL Scout. What they shared. It's basically, damn bloody well find it. Well, they were just basically saying Grealish and Foden. They're on the way back. They're probably looking more likely to probably play against West Ham, but it's just about. It's about a wait and see sort of thing. And I'll try and find it when we'll also move on to your team. So when we're talking about your team, Ash, I'll try and bring it on the screen. I am thinking with 2.1 million in the bank, it would be my third hit of the season. I kind of want to do either Foden to either one of these three players, Foden to Jota or to Gallagher or to Cornet from Burnley. And the reasoning behind that is I think Steven Gerrard could make it tough for Gallagher. I like Cornet for Burnley. I think he's done fantastic for him. About 5 goals, I think, in all competitions so far this season, 1 assist. And I think Spurs are still trying to adapt to Conte's, new system that he's brought to the. So I still think they're going to be open in some places, Spurs, and I think Cornet, just like Gallagher, even Jota. I think for the next few game weeks ahead, we'll look at fixtures later. But Cornet has definitely fit in well in that Burnley team. He's been kind of like a left winger in that 4-4-2. Then he's moved to striker with next to Chris Wood. So I'm kind of thinking, I don't know we'll get your thoughts in a minute, Ash. What do you think? Do you think I'm fine just with the free transfer that I brought in Trent, or do you think maybe I should take a punt? It would be my 3rd hit this season. Do you think I should take this part of the season and just YOLO it and go Foden to maybe Gallagher, Cornet, or Jota? What's your thoughts, mate?
If I was you, I play the game a certain way, and I keep hits down to a minimum. I've not taken a single hit this season. I don't intend to unless I absolutely have to, because that's just the way I enjoy playing the game. I like to play by the rules that they've set out, and I sometimes feel like taking a points hit. It's mainly for emergencies. But some people do take advantage of it. People like Nick, just saying, they do take advantage of that. And it can, I do take on board the fact that there is a -4 for each transfer that you make over and above what you're allocated. So it's really down to what you feel is right for you as a manager. For me, if I was in your shoes, I'd let it run. I'd let Foden play. I don't feel like the 3 players that you've said are worth moving to. I've had a really good look at Max Cornet from Burnley. He's looked really, really good. He's really sort of transformed the way Burnley play and attack, which is great. It's finally Burnley fans got something to shout about. 5 goals, combined goals and assists this season in the Premier League. So he's looked really good. I think he's at 6.1 mil. Looks great value. My only concern with him is that I believe he'll be off to the Africa Cup of Nations very soon. So if that is a punt short term, okay. But if you're looking at him long term, it's probably not the best idea. The other one, who did you say?
Gallagher. Jota.
Gallagher. So I'll start with Jota. So Jota's one of those ones, like it can either work out really well or it can just dramatically fail like it's already done for me once this season. So I'm going to learn from my mistakes. I'm not going to bring Jota in myself. However, I do see why people are bringing him in, because he is that value pick in that Liverpool forward line. They've had the most shots this season. They've had the most shots on target this season. So it makes sense to get Liverpool attackers in. And if you can get them at good value, 100% you should do it. Whether or not Jota's the one, I don't know, because as soon as Firmino comes back, it's rotation. He's going to miss out. And then you're going to have to deal with that disappointment of, oh, great, Jota's not starting again. So there's that to take into consideration. And then Gallagher, I don't know what you've been doing if you haven't had Gallagher in since like game week 2, because he's been absolutely immense for his price. He's been the best cheap midfield asset this season for me. He plays regularly. He plays 90 minutes regularly. I think he's got the most shots for Crystal Palace this season. He's involved in everything, attack and defence. Seems to be getting a couple of bonus points as well. So I like him. Would I take a hit for him? No. But if I was going to roll my transfer over into 2 next week, I would probably bring him in as part of like a double move. So you could probably do a Foden to a Gallagher and an upgrade somewhere else if you were thinking of strengthening elsewhere. So they're my thoughts. I've let Foden run. And with Foden, he's been playing that sort of false 9, hasn't he, up front for City. I like him. I do like him as an asset. Man City are a fantastic team. I just feel like the value for them is more in defence, because they've got a scattergun approach to their attackers. There's not really one focal point for their attack. The goals can come from anywhere. Mahrez, Sterling, Jesus, Bernardo Silva, who's been like really impressive this season. Gundogan's still a threat. There's too many to choose from, and to put those eggs into Foden is a risk because of rotation. We know that.
Yeah, it's just one of them where, I mean, I don't have to dwell, like if I took a hit now, because we know the next game week's on Tuesday next week, so it's not like we have to wait another 6 days or something for the next deadline. And I just think it's a tough one because I like I said to Nick, I've said to all my other guests, I'm one of them that's not owned either James, Chilwell, Gallagher, Smith Rowe, the ones who've just been getting all the big points. I've been every week. I've been staring at them and thinking I should have bought that player in that week. I should have bought in that player, but it's happened. So I can't just like. Oh, it's a tough one. It really is. I mean, Rafinha's even one as well. You know, Rafinha back in training. I've heard Bamford is supposedly on his way back as well. So that's a big thing for Leeds. I know he's forward, but he's definitely one to consider as well. I mean, Rafinha. But I just
100%.
Yeah, with Gallagher, it's a very tough one. I think I'm thinking with Cornet. What you were talking about, am I thinking like short term, long term? And bear in mind, like you said, the African Cup of Nations. With Cornet, I'm only planning to probably keep him for the, this Christmas period, like this 9 game week period, and then because I do know about the AFCON, because I was talking about with Nick about Salah and Mane and how that's going to affect Liverpool, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna have to have a good think about it. Probably have a few drinks. Don't drink in FPL.
That normally helps the scenario, mate. That normally helps.
Yeah, it is a tough one. Maybe I just got to hold my nerve and just think, nah, I'm probably overthinking it, and I'm just gonna probably just stick with that free transfer and then just hope, they don't like go wild, and then just look forward to the next game week then, which is only about 3 days later or something like that. So
yeah, I think so. I think there's always a danger because you have the option in this game to take hits. It then creates this feeling of you can be impatient, you can rush to get to the team that you want to make, and in doing so, in doing that process, you kind of don't give players enough of a chance. It's not FIFA. This is based on real life football, and lots of these players will go through periods of not scoring for 2 or 3 games. Case in point, Jamie Vardy's not scored for 3 or 4 games now. But there's going to be a point where he's going to score a brace or even a hat-trick. It's going to come. It's just a case of biding your time and just having that patience, and also having that sort of foresight to look ahead to the fixtures. Players like Rafinha, I've kept Rafinha pretty much from day one, even in spite of, when he's been injured and when he's been ill here or there, but because of not just the fixtures, but because him as a player, he is the man for Leeds. Like, he is the one that gets on the ball, he makes things happen, he makes the team tick, he's getting off shots. Again, most shots in Leeds team this season. Goal threat, of course, he's got 5 goals this season already. Someone like him is someone that you want to be going for and very reliable. But back to the point on the transfers and stuff, I just feel like a lot of people are just sort of drawn into that feeling of, right, I can do it, I can make that transfer early, I can do this, I can do that. And I just feel like you just miss out. I was having this conversation with my boss, as I was saying, at work, because he was having the same sort of problem. And I was like, look, you just got to relax sometimes. You've got to chill. You've got to let your players do what they've got to do. Give them 2 or 3. If you think about taking them out, give them, and there's no immediate concern, or they're injured or they're ill or they're like, I take on board if they're in really bad form, whatever, you got to get rid of them. Or if they've got bad fixtures coming up, get rid of them. But you got to give them a chance. At the end of the day, you have to give them a chance.
Yeah, I've also noticed as well in the Twitter community, throughout all bloody day, I've seen a lot of -8s and -12s going about in people's
probably because
teams.
of Chilwell.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, Jesus, -8 makes me want to really do a -4 now, but it really does. I'm not joking. I mean, we see Nick -12. I'm not just So
yeah, Nick will go. Nick will go like, he'll go like 3 or 4 weeks and not do one, and then there'll be 1 week where he goes, right, screw it, I'm just going to do it like a -8. I'm going to do a -12, or he'd even do a -16. Depends how many bevies he's had that evening.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
you
think
can
it's just a tough one.
justify it if the net points are if they're positive, right? You can justify it.
It's a tough one. I think obviously the Chilwell injuries made people change their plans. People bringing in Alonso as an alternative. So yeah, we'll move on to your team, Ash. Easy does
Yeah,
it.
cool,
How you're doing? So you're not 3.5 million now. You've gone up quite a bit since I last spoke
mate.
to you.
5 weeks ago, I was 3.9 million overall rank. It's amazing what a little bit of patience can do. Up to 847k. That's 5 green arrows in a row. All right, there wasn't much lower I could go, but I still had to get the green arrows, and they've been coming in thick and fast. Lots of my players have come into form at the right times. Foster is kind of just an accident, really. He was my sub goalie, and I had David Raya. Obviously, he got that really bad injury, so Raya came out, and then I had a decision to make. It was, do I go and try and get a Ramsdale in? Do I get a Guaita? Do I go for a Sanchez like everybody else has got? But I thought, no, do you know what? I'm going to stick with Foster. He's done me all right. He's done me proud. All right, they're going to concede pretty much every game, but I don't mind. He's only 4 mil. I'm going to go Backman for the Watford double up. And this is really weird because I've gone full circle. This is exactly the same goalie combination that I started with at the start of the season. So I've gone full circle. And by going to Backman, I freed up 0.3 mil, which I think is going to be invaluable because it's all about the defenders this season. At the back, I've got the James and Chilwell double up. I've had James since game week 3. I just could see that he was going to have a good season. And I know Trent is the man. I know he's an absolute boss. But for me, he's just too expensive. And I was looking for that alternative. And for me, James seemed to match up. So he's done exactly what I expected him to do. And more, of course. Chilwell's been fantastic, and Chelsea have been keeping clean sheets, so the Chelsea double up just makes sense. Cancelo, I've had him since the start. Again, I was looking for that Trent alternative. He has come up trumps. Most shots for Man City this season so far. I think he's popped up with 4 assists, and he's got a bunch of clean sheets as well. He's gone up 0.5 million in value, so he's definitely been a great pick for me. Livramento in the back there, much like everybody else has got, he's that sort of 4.3 mil player that's kind of, if he plays and gets some points, fantastic. But you don't mind if he's on the bench either. In midfield, like yourself, Calv, I've gone with Salah captain, got me 16 points. Again, that's the safe bet. 17 goals and assists combined this season. He's been absolutely red hot. Gallagher, which I've talked about before. Bruno's the interesting one. He's actually been okay this season, despite Man United's poor form. I think 7 goal and assist contributions this season. But the Watford game was the final straw for me. He had to go after that. And Ben Rama, who got off to a flyer, but has just kind of been stealing a living since then. So he's firmly on the chopping block for the coming weeks. And up front, everyone's been struggling. Up top, I've got Jimenez, who seems to have come into a little bit of a purple patch. Scored in the last game, getting some points after not starting at the beginning of the season. And then Jamie Vardy as well, who's the top goal scoring, second top goal scoring striker this season. Behind, he's the same as Antonio. I think he might be the same. But yeah, so and then I've got Rafinha, Duffy, and Emmanuel Dennis on the bench, who I've had for a very long time. 14 points on the bench. It's a good sign, but at the same time, it's a little bit gutting because you want that 14 points in your starting lineup, don't you? But who would have envisaged Watford beating Man United at home 4-1? But that's FPL for you. That's why we love it, right?
Yeah, that's why we love the highs and lows of it. So
all about.
Yeah. So what did you say? Do you say what transfer you've done? Do you say?
So I made one transfer early, and I'm not sure I should have done it. Right. So I've done Bruno to Mane.
Okay.
I've done Bruno because I had 2 frees. What I would normally do is wait for the Champions League games to finish and then make my transfers because of exactly what happened to Chilwell. Yeah. So I think if I hadn't have made that move, I'd probably be now looking at Chilwell to Trent. I know I've said that I was looking for alternatives, but sometimes the obvious one is the best one. and then probably downgrading Ben Rama to like a 4.5 and just going like a 3-4-3 and playing Dennis up top with with Vardy and Jimenez. But because I've already made the move now, Bruno to Mane, and I made that because Mane was going up in price. Seems like a lot of people cotton on to the fact that Mane is coming into a bit of form, and he just looks more of a threat than I think Son does, than Sterling, obviously. So he's come in, and now I've got the 1 free transfer. So I'm in a situation now where I can either transfer Chilwell out, but it's not going to be for Trent because I haven't got the funds, or do I let the 1 free transfer roll, play Duffy this week, and try and make 2 free transfers next week, where I could probably do Chilwell to Trent and Benrahma to a 4.5, or even like Vardy to, I don't know, a real cheap striker. But I've got options there, but I'm quite happy to, I think, run with what I've got at the moment.
Yeah, you could, because you've done Bruno to Mane, you could just bench Chilwell and then start Duffy.
Yeah.
And then you look at, then again, you've got Rafinha. I mean, what you could do, Rafinha for Benrahma, and then, but Dennis is, that's a bit of a dilemma, but can we actually see Watford getting something at Leicester? I mean, they're looking good, aren't they? Looking all right. Ranieri's old team, the team he won the title with.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that game? You know, the return of Ranieri to Leicester.
I mean, at the moment, I am lining up with James Cancelo and Duffy at the back, with Dennis, Vardy and Jimenez up front. Dennis has got, I think, the same amount of goal contributions as Antonio this season. I think he's gone under the radar a lot. I can see, and Leicester's defence hasn't been great this season. They've not been solid. I can see Leicester conceding there. I can see Dennis getting some goal contributions there. I mean, I can also see it going the other way as well. I mean, I could see this quite easily being a score draw, 2-2, something like that, with Vardy and Dennis getting in on the act. And that's why I've put them both in my team. You know, I mean, I've kind of done this via default, really, because I've got Livramento playing away at Liverpool. I've got Benrahma playing away at City, and I've got Chilwell, who's injured. So they're kind of default bench players, if you know what I mean. So that's the team I've got. Like I say, I've got that free transfer in the back pocket if I feel like I might want to do something before the game week deadline. But at the moment, I'm happy to run with that. I feel like there could be some points there for Dennis at Leicester.
No, yeah, I've completely forgot about Livramento. Yeah, I'd probably just get Rafinha, Duffy, and Dennis, get all 3 of them off your bench and just start them for Livramento, Chilwell, and Benrahma, like you said. But I think that's very good. Mane's a good shout as well. I was considering him. You know, Liverpool, you know, until the AFCON comes, you know, we've got a beautiful fixtures: Everton, Wolves, Southampton. So it's going to be interesting. I know a lot of people looking at Jota, but like you said, you talked about earlier, once Firmino's back, you know, there's rotation there, isn't there? So
yeah, Liverpool have got some phenomenal fixtures, but also so have Man United, and that's why it was a little difficult for me to take out Bruno for Mane, because I can just see now, you know, they've sacked Ollie. I can see them going on a run. I can see Bruno probably going back to his old ways and netting loads of points. And it's just the way, isn't it? It's just the way this game works. But what do you think about the Man U situation and their run? Their run looks good on paper. Do you think that they could put some results together?
See, I was talking about this with Nick. I don't know I don't know anything about this guy who I've just put on the screen.
Does anyone? So what's mad? Everyone's going, yeah, he's gonna go. He's gonna, you know, he taught Klopp and he does the Gurgen press and this and that. I think you haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
I went on bloody Wikipedia and he's been clubs like Schalke, Leipzig. All he's won is the bloody Poker Cup, where it's called Poco. What is that bloody second string German cup? I'm like, managed the under-19s for Stuttgart. Who the bloody hell is this guy? I mean,
I don't know.
I think it's too much hype. Too much hype. United fans getting big-headed with it. So, yeah, the fixture's obviously nice. FPL's made them look flattering, making them all green, a lot of them. But I'm still not hyped. We have to see how he does. But I'm not hyped. I don't, like I was saying to Nick, bringing Ronaldo in is probably one of the other reasons, not just Ollie. They're working around him. He's one of the best
Yeah,
out there. He's 36, 37. They're working around him. It's messed things up for Manchester United tactics wise. So they shouldn't have re-signed him. To be honest with you, what has he done? Had a easy goals to score against Newcastle, second string debut. To be honest with you, I was one of them with a lot of people after that game. Yeah, this Ronaldo is going to start banging them in again. And what happens? He fizzles out like Lukaku and stuff. And I think it's just too much hype. I'm not convinced. I think Crystal Palace will make it tough for him. I think Arsenal might. I think Norwich might. Dean Smith, Pookie, Brentford in there. I can't see these being walkovers for Manchester United. I can't see it.
I would incline to disagree, and I would put this. I would say this to. I said this to Nick before as well. I said to him, if you put Klopp as manager of United, do you think that they'll be getting the same results as they're getting now? And the answer was no, because he has a way of playing and he implements that with his players. Mm-hmm. Ollie never really, like, if you ask me now what type of football did Man U play under Ollie, I would say it's a bit like a Sunday League team. You're trying different things. There's no real identity. They're not really a high pressing team. They're not really, a counter attacking team. They were just a kind of very orthodox, middle of the road, average team, but with above average players, which obviously didn't flatter the players. Look, you could have put Klopp in charge of them, Pep in charge of them. I don't know, the Atletico Madrid manager, whatever his name is. You could have put any of these guys in charge of Man United, and I guarantee the performances and the results would not have been the same, Ronaldo or not. I just think it was weak management.
I think if they had Jurgen Klopp, I think they would be. This is a guy. Compare Jurgen to this huge comparison. I mean, Ollie's nothing on Jurgen Klopp. I mean, you get Ollie, manager. No disrespect to these clubs. Cardiff manager, Malmo. Jurgen Klopp having a good time, good few seasons at Dortmund, taking them to a Champions League final, building himself up, going to nice big clubs like that, or big club, and. They're linked with Brendan Rodgers. Now he's been with Swansea, Liverpool. He's now at Leicester. I mean, he's a smart manager. But I mean, talk about Rodgers. If he was a Manchester United manager, would he do any better? Would he do? Or
no.
Would his
tactics, possibly, but again, I feel like that'd be Man United aiming too low again. I feel like that'd be aiming too low with Brendan Rodgers. Yeah, I think he's a good manager.
Since Ferguson went, they've just gone downhill. They had David Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho. I mean, since he went, Ferguson, he was that vocal manager. He got that team. He gave them a dressing down when they weren't performing. He brought them the glory times. He brought Manchester at the glory times, and since he left, it just dropped. Players, the confidence, everything like that. And not one manager. I mean, David Moyes was breaking bloody records when he was there. First lost at West Brom, first lost to Swansea at Old Trafford since 50 years.
Yeah.
Van Gaal was all right, decent, better than Moyes, obviously. But they've not had one manager that was not saying they need a manager that's similar to Fergie, but they need someone who. And I'll be honest, they're a huge club, and they always will be a huge club. But they've got a crap team, They had a crap manager in Ollie, and to be honest, they deserve better. They need a better manager. They need a manager that has a lot of experience behind his belt. And I know with Ferguson, he didn't have. I think he was manager of Aberdeen back in the day before he went to Man United. He didn't have now. That put different point. He didn't have that much experience. It was like, I know it's different levels, but Gerrard, Scottish in the with Rangers going to Villa, obviously different levels, Villa and Manchester United. But I just think they need somebody who's built well with experience. I mean, Pochettino would have been a good one. he would have been a good one, but he's happy at PSG. But I don't know anything about this Ralph fella, Wreck It Ralph, whatever his bloody name is.
Wreck It Ralph.
Yeah. God knows how I do. I was
Ralph
watching.
Lauren.
I was watching on Twitter. Him and he was coaching this German team, I think, and he was in the dressing room, and he was obviously speaking in German. He was going, really shouting and he looked like quite a strict manager. I mean, behind the scenes, you're seeing like in the dressing room, and he was like a very, angry German.
Yeah.
He was getting really pissed off, basically, with the players.
Yeah.
He was really getting dressing down. But I don't know how he'll do. Maybe he might do good. Who knows? Might bring some confidence, new tactics. Who knows? But I don't know who it was. It was one of my guests ages ago. There's a lot of big egos. Ronaldo, big ego. He's always full of himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if
I feel like I'll try and make this point as eloquently as I can. There's definitely been a generational change in how footballers used to be and how they are now, and not just footballers, just people, human beings they're used to a certain level of being spoken to, a certain level of respect. You couldn't get away now, I think, with some of the stuff that managers used to do in dressing rooms 10 or 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. I feel like man management's like as important now as it's ever been. And I feel like Man United had that level of success under Fergie because he had very good man management skills. Like when Cantona first joined, everyone thought that there was going to be a real clash of egos there, but he managed he let him explore his creative side. He gave him a platform, and that's when he got the best out of him. I feel like, and I might be wrong here because Mourinho at Man U, I feel like was a completely different manager until he was at Chelsea. At Chelsea, I think that all the players loved him, but at Man U they didn't. So I don't know. Maybe it's that period of time there where there's just a new approach is needed with people. And you look at the best managers now; they're all really good at man management. Look at Jurgen Klopp, great man manager. Pep Guardiola, great man manager. Even Brendan Rodgers, great man manager. I've watched a documentary on when he was at Liverpool. He's a fantastic man manager. And these guys, they need to be able to deal with these big egos and these differing opinions and these differing attitudes to life and to the game. And those that are good at that, combined with tactical prowess, will succeed. Those that can't will get found out, and they won't last very long. Just look at Nuno.
It's going to be interesting to see. But if we just go back to your team, Ash, let me just get down here. So if we're looking ahead now, before we move on to other things to talk about with what's going on in the league, what are your plans for the Christmas period? Are there any players that you're eyeing up that you've not mentioned, or are you any fires to burn out? I assume you probably used your wild card already this season. Your first one.
Use my wild card on like game week 2, man.
Game week 2. Jeez.
That's what put me in the mess. To be honest with you, mate, there's not that much of a long-term plan here at all, really. I always take this game week by week, and I mean like deadline by deadline. There's not really a plan here. I'm comfortable with the players that I've got in terms of the Liverpool duo. I feel like they're going to score me points. They've got a great run of fixtures. Vardy, although he's been quiet, I'm happy with. Got a great run of fixtures for the next sort of 5 or 6 games. Gallagher and Rafinha, I'm happy with those. Cancelo, James, I'm happy with those guys. Livramento and Duffy as cheap enablers at the back. I've been very, very pleased with them. I'm happy with my goalkeepers. Dennis can chill. I like Dennis at 5.2 mil. He's my budget forward, and he's playing games and scoring goals. You don't want any more than that. I'd say the ones where I've got an issue and where I'm looking at are Chilwell, for obvious reasons, Ben Rama, because of his lack of form, and I believe that West Ham in the next sort of 5 or 6 games have got some tough games. I think they've got Liverpool and Chelsea in there, and Arsenal. I think I'm right in saying, perhaps.
Yeah,
is that right?
Arsenal's in there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm working off a memory here, Guy, so you might have to help me out. And then Jimenez. So his next two fixtures are really, really good. I think he's got Norwich, and then I think it might be Burnley. But then Wolves fixtures change. So at the moment, I'm thinking I need Chilwell out, and I want to try and get him to Trent. Again, Liverpool got the fixtures, so Trent, like, points galore there. Benrahma will probably have to go to like a 4.5. So I'm looking for like, it might even be like a Norman from Norwich, or like a Basuma from Brighton, just someone, or like a Brown, just someone cheap just to chill on the bench. And then Jimenez, I'll be looking for a budget forward there. So and then going one up top. So Jimenez to maybe like a Pookie. I know that's a bit of a weird one, but I feel like he might start bagging. A Callum Wilson perhaps, and I really like Tony. I know Nick's like fallen out of him major because he's not done it for Nick, but I feel like Tony's there. Like he's getting there. Like he's got, I think, combined 5 goals and assists so far this season. Great budget forward, plays every game, is the penalty taker, looks like a hustle bustle, old school number 9 forward, gets in amongst it, and he's got some pretty good fixtures as well. So yeah, possible plan there is Chilwell to Trent, Benrahma to like a cheap enabler, and then Jimenez to whichever forward is actually scoring goals.
Are you going to be one that's going to be jumping on the? I don't know when they start game week 18. I know it's quite a few game weeks off, but with these game weeks coming out this Christmas period, it'll be here in no time. But if we move on to where the Norwich game is here for West Ham, and it's Southampton, Watford, Crystal Palace. Are you looking at? Because I know some people in the community are like Jared Bowen, he's doing well. Maybe Antonio. 2 players that seem to be doing better than Fornals and Benrahma at the moment. Would you consider going a double up on West Ham attack? I know it's a bit way off game week 18. That's December 18th, that is. Would you consider?
Yeah. I mean, we're in game week, what are we now? 13. So that's 5 game weeks away. Yeah. A lot can change there. I do have my eye on Antonio, of course. Who doesn't? Those that haven't got him already are probably still looking at him because he, is the value for money forward, I think, in this game, in this season's FPL. So yeah, the move could be for me, once Vardy's finished these fixtures, and we'll see how he gets on. Could be Vardy to Antonio. I feel like Bowen is a good pick. I do like Bowen. For me, though, in my team, Benrahma to Bowen is very much a sideways move for someone that's 0.1 more expensive. But if you haven't got any West Ham assets and you are looking for one, Bowen seems to be the form one at the moment. He seems to be getting involved in a lot of the goals, a lot of the build-up. Moyes has recently said that he's the most fittest player in the team, so he's going to be playing. He's going to be playing 90 most times. Benrahma's dried up. Fornals is too sporadic for me. Antonio, I feel like, is a confidence player. Obviously, he started off the season really well. And that confidence has got him through. He scored a bunch of goals. He's involved in a bunch of assists. And then it's kind of just stopped for a few weeks now. Once he finds his form again, he'll be back in that confidence mood and he'll be firing. So, yeah, I'll be definitely on the lookout for Antonio. But you know what FPL's like, Cal. Like, by the time game week 18 rolls around, we'll be talking about the next shiny thing that scored a hat-trick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just all about jumping at the right time, isn't it, on those players that do well. I think with me, I've gone into this season a different strategy. Obviously, the old me used to take hits early, so many hits during the start of the season, blow all my chips as well. And now I'm surprised. I've still got my triple bench boost and all that jazz. And about 2 of the 3 of them I would have blown off by game week 7, game week 8. I'm that much of a casual. I'm not one of them top 10k. But yeah, there's also a Ramanathan saying Gilmore is 4.4 million. That's 0. I think he's talking about maybe as well your Benrahma pick. With probably Gilmore. I don't know if has he been starting games?
I was not. Finally, you mentioned that. Is that Ramanathan? Yeah. Benrahma to Gilmore, I was looking at that when I was trying to sort of suss out, a little 4.5 enabler to get my Trent move from Chilwell. Gilmore did pop up because I'd watched Match of the Day, and Gilmore, they highlighted Gilmore Match of the Day as having a fantastic game in that win. And it's definitely an option. Like I am considering it. It's there. You just compare it with like who are my other options? Bissouma, who's I know he'll play. He's very much a defensive mid, whereas I think Gilmore's a bit more mobile. Has probably got more of a chance of getting some attacking returns than Bissouma. Brownhill, who's literally like he is the two man. Like he is Desmond Tutu. He's 2-2-2-2-2 every single game. Josh Brownhill. So. Yeah, I mean that's not a bad shout. 100%. It's worth considering that move for sure.
Yeah, he's got 1 assist so far. And he got 85 minutes in Dean Smith's first game for Norwich. So
yeah,
he's definitely one. He's one of those cheapy ones. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does. You know what I mean? I mean, it is Norwich at the end of the day, unless Dean Smith actually turns Norwich into an actual team that could survive this season and stay up, which it will be very surprising if they do. Yeah, we'll move on now. We're moving now to the last bit, and then we'll probably wrap things up.
Yeah, cool, man.
And we'll just move on to Chelsea. This is something I was talking about with. Let's get this off from
no doubt he was talking about Alonso, right?
Well, we were talking quite a bit about, what was it? Well, basically, I wanted to know. I've been talking about a lot of people, including Chelsea fans. My question was to Nick, and this was, even though it was yesterday, it was something I've been thinking about before Chilwell got injured. And I was wondering, like, during the Christmas period, they have 9 game weeks, league games of football, and then they have 1 Champions League game left as well. They have one more Champions League group game left as well. So it's 10 games they've got, I think, from now till New Year's Day at Chelsea. So I'm wondering as well, was there going to be rotation between, James, Chilwell, Azpilicueta and Alonso? This was before, obviously, Chilwell getting injured. And then I mentioned now we knew about the Chilwell injury, what happened a few nights ago. I said to him yesterday, I asked him, do you still think, even with Chilwell out now, it's going to be Alonso, Azpilicueta and Reece James, the only fit fullbacks. Do you think Reece James minutes will be during this Christmas period, these 9 game weeks? Do you think they could be limited? Do you think how many games do you think he'll start off the 9, Ash? Reece James
of the 9?
Yeah,
7.
7.
I feel like he is the number 1 right wing back. He was always the plan to be the first choice right wing back because he is more mobile. He is better on the ball. He can deliver crosses better than Azpilicueta. He can shoot a ball better than Azpilicueta. He can defend better than Azpilicueta, and he's much stronger than Azpilicueta. So I don't think it was ever a doubt that he would be firmly in the first team plans this season. That's why I brought him in on game week, whatever it was, 1 or 2, whenever I brought him in. I can't remember. I feel like he's integral to the way Tuchel wants to play. He's proved that as well. Obviously the danger is the rotation, but Chelsea are going to be fighting for the Premier League this season, and if they want to pick up 3 points every week, they're going to need to put out as best a team as they can. Reece James is part of that best team. On the other hand, on the other flank, where they've lost Chilwell, it is an issue for him. I do think it is an issue. I don't think it's just simply a case of like for Alonso, because Alonso can't defend. Going forward, he's great, so he'll probably play in the sort of easier games. But it might even be a case of like, I don't know, Hudson-Odoi going back out to the wing, or an Azpilicueta switching to the left-hand side or something like that. We don't know what Tuchel's plans are, but what I do know and what I do believe is that Reece James will be pivotal.
Yeah, and I've got on the screen right now, it's just scary, these stats. Like, game week 9, I know it's fair enough, it was Norwich and the other man sent off. He had, 90 minutes, got a goal there, got 2 goals against Newcastle, an assist against Burnley. And, when he gets the minutes, like in game week 2, again in 90 minutes against Arsenal, and a 2-0 win, he got a goal and assist. It's scary. I mean, I don't know why I've gone without this lad, but he's literally like Trent. If you, fair play to anyone who had him and Trent, I mean, or still have him because they're absolutely tearing it up. They really are. They don't look like fullbacks, him and Trent. They look like, they're playing like midfielders, like I said, and it's
Yeah.
scary. It really is. They're playing that out of position. They're playing out of position. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But I really would like someone like Reece James in. And unfortunately, I didn't mention this actually. I really was thinking, and it was about 3 days ago. It was about a night or two before I did the guest stream with Nick, and I was considering doing Williams to James, and unfortunately, the dreaded price changes kicked in, and I think Williams went down. As you can see,
no, priced
0.1.
out of it.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
I can do it if I did Livramento this week, but I don't really want to get rid of him because he's doing all right, isn't he? He's good rotation. But I think he's definitely somebody. Maybe what I could do this game week if I just did the free transfer this week and then go into the midweek games, might take a hit. Then I'll be hoping James starts against Watford. If there is rotation, so I might downgrade. I'm looking at getting rid of Townsend, and then I might downgrade or upgrade Williams. Then, so I've got about 2.1 million in the bank at the moment. So if I did do that, if I can, let's have a look quickly. So if we did that to James,
Yeah.
then
How are you feeling about Son, by the way?
That's an interesting one. Yeah, that's a good question. Spurs, like we talked about, still trying to adapt with Conte's tactics and formation, what he had at Inter Milan. But like I said, it's like with Manchester United, Ash. You look at the fixtures here, Burnley, Brentford, Norwich. They look nice, don't they? But I think it's all about form, isn't it?
The fixtures look nice. The Tottenham team doesn't.
No, but yeah, it's all about form. It's all about form. And are Kane and Son in form? Kane's certainly not. Kane's certainly not in form. No. And I'd rather, like I've said to my guests, including Nick, if I had to pick a Spurs attacker, I'd rather own Son over Kane. He's done better. He's been getting the goals, the assists. He's looked lively, but I think I want him just for the fun of it and just see, because surely Conte's got to get it right. Surely he's got to get it right, and I want to be on that Spurs player, that attacker, when it does go right, and they're banging them in again. And it is a tough one because Burnley's not going to be easy. I know Tarkowski's out, what his name is, and someone else is out, but that might help. But Burnley, probably still a tough game. Brentford will probably still make it tough. Leeds made it tough for him, but Leeds probably a bit more better in the tactics-wise with players they've got. Norwich in there, but I kind of want to see. So what the plan is to keep Son for the next 3 game weeks, see how he does. If he does absolutely F all, I'm going to probably just move him on to someone else then. So I'm taking the risk, but I think it's one of them. But like I said, if I did a hit -4 game week 14, Williams to James, I'd need to get rid of Townsend very soon. I do need to get rid of him. So if I were probably going to have a little scroll down to some midfielders, there's not anybody.
Yeah. Everton, I think Everton are done, mate. They've had their time in the sun.
Well, there's Declan Rice who was trending the other night for rapping Rice Baby. I don't know if you heard about that on Twitter Spaces. He did. If you type it, it was. I heard him as well live. I went on Twitter Space. It was this sing your dialect. This guy that's got.
Oh, what a guy! He's a proper guy. I like Declan. Great character.
Probably what I might do, because there's no obviously good options for Townsend out. I'll probably get rid of Foden, and that leaves me with 8 million in the bank, and I'll probably look at a Gallagher or a Cornet or something like that and see what happens then. But I probably will go free transfer, but I definitely want James in, like we were just talking about. So that's probably looking ahead. You got anything else? Anything else you want to add, Ash, before we sign off? Anything you want to get off your chest, or any questions?
No, not really. No. I'm just looking to just keep going, just keep this momentum going with the green arrows. I feel like I've got a good grasp of who's in good form and what moves I should be making. I feel like I'm after that first sort of wild card I did when I went in that real sort of downhill spiral. I was on tilt basically, and I kind of got it back now. I'm playing my game, I'm enjoying my game. I'm spending less time looking at stuff on Twitter. I'm spending less time looking at content on Instagram, and it's helping my game because I'm not being, distracted by all this input of information from other people and the way that they interpret that information. And instead, I'm kind of just focusing on what makes sense to me and my strategy in my game. And I think that's important for a lot of managers to know. If you are a casual, even if you're not, like, it's quite easy to get caught up in all this, convoluted stuff online. It can happen. Don't get me wrong. There's some great content out there, but I was at the start of the season, and I don't know if you know what it's like, but with the camaraderie that me and Nick have every week, it is a real sort of competition. And I was getting caned every week, man. Like, how what we do with our show, we open up the show with, when we're doing the game week reviews, the losing team goes first. I was first for like 7 weeks, man. But it was not good. It wasn't good. But the last 3, I've done better than Nick, and I'm slowly clawing it back. So definitely enjoying the game. Now, the biggest question I had for you and your team was around that Son thing. And you're a braver man than me, because I want to wait and see what Conte does with this Spurs team. And judging by his reaction to the loss yesterday evening, he is not a happy man. He basically said, I'm now aware of this situation. These players are not at the level that they should be. Like, the level is not that good here, basically. And I'm just thinking, what is Daniel Levy thinking right now? Like, this is my manager, and he's just basically buoying off the whole team like they're no good. So I feel like he's finally realised he's got his work cut out, and I want to wait and see what Kane and Son can do in the next sort of games, because that's an easy move for me to do, Mane to Son. I can do that all day long. And I could probably even get to Vardy by taking out Benrahma for a cheap, like a Gilmore, and getting Vardy to Kane if he starts banging. So that's definitely in the pipeline there. That's ready to go if it happens. But yeah, otherwise, I'm pretty happy, mate.
Yeah, that's cool. Right, we'll finish things off. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Ash, thank you so much for taking the time, popping on. I didn't have to put you through that dreaded Luton Town quiz. Until next time.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. But yeah, do you want to just tell us where we can find you, your socials and everything?
Yeah, so you can catch myself and my co-host Nick, FPL Juice. We are on Twitter. That's at FPL_Juice. We're also on Instagram at FPL_Juice. We're also on Facebook and TikTok, and you can catch the FPL Juice live show every Tuesday evening, 8 p.m. on YouTube. It's me, it's Nick, it's fun, it's games, it's banter, it's some stats, some information, and it's a real show. You'll absolutely love it. We like to get everyone interacting with us on the live stream comments as well. Cal is normally there most weeks, watching and joining in the fun. So yeah, it's a real sort of fun show. So if you're enjoying FPL and you want to have a laugh, come to FPL Juice. Check it out.
Cool. I've noticed a lot of FPL managers on TikTok. Shout out to FPL Harry, FPL graduates. It's quite a popular.
Oh, the graduates are smashing it. Absolutely smashing it. We
What
had them in the studio 2 weeks ago.
What do you do on TikTok FPL wise? Do you just talk about your teams or players to watch, or is it just
like everything? It's a real creative place because it's short bursts of content. It's, you could talk about the top 3 players to have for the next 3 game weeks and do a quick video on that. You can talk about reactions to the last week. You can talk about news in the media. But if you want tips and you want to check out some real good TikTok FPL content, check out the graduates. They're awesome.
Yeah, shout out to FPL graduates, Ben and Josh, top content as well. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Ash as well. And do check out FPL Juice on YouTube and Twitter. Absolute legends, James as well, who runs the show with the cameras. And
yeah, shout out producer James.
And get well soon, James, as well. I heard you've not been well. So hope you get well soon, mate. Anyway, take care, guys, and see you later.